In an era with so much content being created, it seems positively quaint that not so long ago single movies would absorb years of people's lives just to make. Sometimes the result would absolutely be worth it, but oftentimes it wouldn't. Luckily for you, the longest of these movies would only involve 2 hours of your time. Number 10. Multiple Sidosis. 4 years. This was an extremely influential 1970s music video, except that music videos didn't exist when the short was started. Essentially, what happens is artist Sid Lovrentz takes multiple shots of himself performing the song Nola with various instruments in simulated celebration of a Christmas present. The instruments range from a jaw harp to a banjo to his own voice just pitched higher. This sort of technique has been widely copied for music videos. Of course, today it's a fairly straightforward technique with video editing software, but at the time Lovrentz was basically inventing a new type of short. Because of the innovation and the short's popularity in some circles, it was entered into the National Film Registry of America in 2000. Number 9. Eraserhead. 5 years. This is the most highly acclaimed and widely seen student film in cinema history, helping such films to gain a reputation as being both incomprehensible and scary. The story of a man in a barren industrial environment with a deformed child, or something, this less than inspiring tale brings with it a somewhat inspiring backstory. Writer-director David Lynch made the movie the way he wanted from 1972 to 1977, despite butting heads with financiers and other problems. His sets were destroyed multiple times over, and money was so tight that he had to take an extra job as a newspaper delivery boy just to finish it. Afterwards, he went on to make even more confusing and disquieting movies such as Mulholland Drive. Number 8. Vegas in Space. 8 years. In 1983, Doris Fish was one of San Francisco's local celebrity transvestites and got it in his head to make a movie parodying science fiction of the 1930s. Vegas in Space is about 3 soldiers who don dresses and makeup to visit an all-female planet. Fish spent 80 years rounding up tens of thousands of dollars to make the movie. With that kind of effort, you'd hope that if you were in that situation, there'd be some sort of classic movie at the end, right? Instead, the movie got distributed straight to video by Troma, where it's considered one of the worst movies they ever distributed, and Troma is notorious for distributing bad movies. Number 7. Cronos. 8 years. On the other end of the success spectrum, opposite Vegas in Space, is this 1992 vampire movie from Guillermo del Toro. A grittier but not sleazier version of the vampire legends we've become overly familiar with. Its highlights include intricate clockwork beetles and an elderly creature of the night having to lick blood off a bathroom floor. It was a film which required him to sell his van and mortgage his house for special effects, and which plunged him into debt at 60% interest rates. It also put him on the filmmaking map and made it possible for him to become the director of the Hellboy films, Blade 2 and Pan's Labyrinth. Number 6. Boyhood. 12 years. Boyhood is the story of L.R. Salmon between 6 years and 18 years and the influence of the divorce of his parents on his life. It was a unique way to film a movie and required a huge amount of time dedicated to it. Number 5. Blood, Tea and Red String. 13 years. Stop-motion animation is notoriously time-consuming, with the Wallace and Gromit shorts taking years to do. But one San Francisco filmmaker stretched it to extreme levels by spending more than a decade on the story of foxcrow puppets, albino mice, and dolls with eggs. While the animation is hardly perfect and the story is incomprehensible without the commentary soundtrack, Christian Segevsky's film still has a dreamy, immersive atmosphere, in large part due to the excellent music by Mark Grodin. One of the more touching stories from behind the scenes is that at one point during the shoot, Chagevsky's mother threw away all of her puppets. Number 4. Pakeezah. 14 years. This is a Bollywood movie which follows a peasant girl who goes to the palace of her local ruler, becomes a courtesan, and then all of her dreams come true. That was the story that director Kamal Amrohi and star Meena Kumari set out to tell in 1958. What should have been a routine shoot in Mumbai studios was started over time and time again. First off, the director decided to switch from black and white to color when he'd already shot most of the movie. Then, later, he decided to shoot in widescreen instead. It turned out that the lens he received was faulty, so the film had to reshoot again. Then the film's composer and director of photography died, and then the director and his wife broke up, leaving the film again incomplete. To get her back to the shoot, Amrohi had to resort to offering to go through with a divorce in exchange. But when she came back, Kumari became ill and had to be body doubled for scenes or even just lie down for song and dance numbers. When the film was finally finished and released, initially it was a box office bomb. Then Kumari died, and news of the star's demise made the movie into a sensation. Number 3. The Manson Family. 15 years. A tribute to the grindhouse movies of yore, this sleazy production may not win awards or be aired on Lifetime anytime soon. Still, it must be worth something given the dedication behind it. Writer, director, star producer, editor, everything, Jim Van Bebber didn't just spend 15 years making it. To make money to fund the film, he also resorted to doing all kinds of things like giving blood. Number 2. Tiefland, 21 years. Leni Riefenstahl is most famous for making Triumph of the Will, the grandiose 1936 tribute the Nazi Party paid to itself. In 1934, she had started a script and began pre-production for this movie, having already got Hitler's attention making these sorts of mountain-climbing movies that starred herself. This was one about a shepherd named Pedro and his romantic adventures in pursuit of a peasant girl named Martha. During most of World War II, she did the protracted shoot. Even as the Third Reich surrendered in 1945, she continued working on it. This turned out to be quite stupid, as the naturally vindictive French authorities seized the film from a promoter of an administration guilty of crimes against humanity, and it was almost a decade before she got it back. In 1954, she released the film to widely negative reviews, most in particular citing her poor performance. Number 1. The Thief and the Cobbler, Recobbled edition. 28 years. In 1964, production was begun on a unique animated adaptation of Middle Eastern mythology. Star animator, future two-time Academy Award winner Richard Williams made it his life's ambition to make this movie by assembling his favorite cartoonists from Disney, Warner Brothers, and anywhere else he could get his hands on. By 1993, he had done thousands of commercials and several feature-length films, and endured considerable executive nonsense to get any version of his movie released. And then it lost millions of dollars. The version of the movie that properly approximates what he was going for is available only online. The version you can pick up on DVD has, by general consensus, tons of pointless songs and weird dubbing thrown in. It was such a disappointment to Williams that he now refuses to discuss the movie. So I hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below, and don't forget to subscribe. Brand new videos just like this every day of the week. And if you're looking for something else to watch, why not click on a video on the screen now? And as always, thank you for watching.